Well, what's going on, Facebook family? It's Joe Dupree, 100 BLK, the Black Station, in the building on this Friday. Now, look, I know I've already got some messages earlier, especially my guys out there in the gaming community. They said, man, where are you at? What is going on for all my people who are into gaming and what we do on Facebook Gaming? You can definitely check us out at For Fun Gaming and catch what's going on over there. But I had to do this special broadcast of community conversations because I want especially my people, people who look like me, to know that there are great opportunities out there for us to increase our knowledge and be better, greater for our communities. So, with that being said, let me bring on the people I have for tonight. We're going to have some great conversation. First, Mr. Terrence Lockett. Mr. Lockett, how you doing on this evening, sir?
I'm doing all right, sir. It's a nice Friday night. The weather's dropping, and I'm talking to you and your listeners.
That's it. So listen, we're in here, and Mr. Lockett, Mr. Lockett, explain to people who you are, what you do, and who you represent.
All right, my name is Terrence Lockett. I'm the state director for Dfer, which is the name for Democrats for Education Reform. And what we do is we use politics to address policy. And that policy is specifically towards making better choices, better laws, better opportunities for children in the state of Louisiana.
So tonight we're going to bring in my next brother, and I really had the privilege and the honor of just meeting him, but we had some great beginning conversation. Mike Bland in the building, National Director of Leaders of Color. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Good evening, Brother Joe. Good to be here with you. Happy to see you. It's a little cold up here where I am, but, give me some of those NOLA vibes. Give me some of those Baton Rouge vibes and warm it up a little bit. I could go with some gumbo right now.
Why you say warm it up, Chris? That's what I'm about to do. So we're talking about leaders of color. And I want folks to kind of, since you're the national director, Mike, and let me go ahead and put this up here now because there's some people jumping on. Good evening. This is good evening to everybody who's jumping on. Share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because this is big to me. This is real big to me. And the reason why it's big, many a times they'll send us to get us, or there'll be leadership academies out there, of all types, but there's not one that's pinpointed to us, for us, by us, to make us better for our communities. It's where individuals come and get the best of us and try to inundate us with certain types of philosophies that is not necessarily what's best for our communities. So with that being said, Mike, I'm going to give you the floor for a moment and tell us about leaders of color, what it is, who can apply, and how they do that.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. And Leaders of Color, I like to call through, is a Breakthrough Fellowship Academy. We are really a leadership academy equipped to give Black and Latinos the skills to harness their skills in politics and civic leadership. This is a fellowship just unlike anything else in the country. A lot of times, like you said, folks go into academy, they go into a fellowship, they get a binder, they get a little spiral notebook, and that's it. We equip folks with over 70 hours of training, 10 hours of an individual coach, one-on-one coaching, and we focus on leadership, civic advocacy, policy agendas that are based upon education for our Black and brown babies. And then we talk about politics, right? How to run a campaign. How do you get involved in a campaign? How do you run your own campaign? How do you fundraise? How do you communicate on social media? How do you communicate to the media? We talk about political prowess. How do you build your bench? Who do you talk to? A lot of times people are scared of the process because they don't know what the process looks like. And so we've really equipped our fellows with the tools across the country in Memphis and Louisiana and New Orleans and Washington, D.C. and New York City to run for office and to be civic champions, not only for our babies, but for Black and brown causes, whether it's environmental justice, whether it's social justice, education inequity, housing inequity. We say there's so many issues and there's more soldiers. They just don't know what to do. And I would say the last thing is a lot of the difference between Leaders Academy and other fellowships. I like to say, look, bottom line is this. We have an opportunity to equip Black and brown folks with the tools that white folks get all the time. Okay. White folks get these opportunities all the time. We don't. right? We don't in our communities. We don't even know how to run for office. Then you say, a year later, you don't know how to file, or you have, mishaps in your filing, and then you have these ethics charges, that ethics charges. No, we give you all the tools. And again, so we know 70 hours is not enough sometimes. So I like to say we don't go away, and we just make our families larger, because we're there every step of the way to equip Black and brown folks to take on this challenge, this exercise, this scientific and personal experience called politics.
Well, that's great. So let's do this. Since I got you here, let me go ahead and pull up the website and bring the website into play. If right now somebody wanted to apply to, wait a minute, I'm going completely off the rails. Many leadership academies have a cost to it.
Right.
So let me take the website out of it for a minute. What's the cost of this leadership academy to help us as a people in our communities?
Joe, you know the great thing about this thing?
Talk to me.
It's free.
Oh,
it's free. And this is something that monetarily could cost anywhere between $500,000 to $750,000 to put on for the whole year. And the reason why it's free, Joe, is because we know, again, we're not given these opportunities in Black and brown communities. How do I go and say, hey, you know what? Joe has been an advocate in his community. He's led on Black and brown issues as an AAU coach, as an advocate. And, he only makes $40,000 a year. So now I'm going to ask him to, pay $5,000 to join the fellowship and do what? No, this is free. This is free. And it has to be this way so we can level out the financial inequities in every systematic process that we have in this country.
So I've got to bring up the website. So the website is www.leadersofcolor.net. You can go there. I actually went there, and let me scroll down a little bit. You can apply. You can find out their impact. You can find out by the numbers, the graduates. Let's talk about some of your graduates, man. I know right now you're heavy in my home state of Tennessee. I'm from Memphis. I actually happen to be very good friends with the Fords. Talked to them earlier, and the Harringtons, and they gave nothing but praise to this program. Wow. So that's why I was just completely blessed when Terrence came to me, and I'm going to bring Terrence back in. I know he's doing some camera adjustment. He went out. Now he's got to come back in. But, let's look at some of the alumni you got. This is a great program. Once again, it's 100% free. So if you go right now to leadersofcolor.net, you can apply today.
That's right.
Representation matters. Opportunity matters. And this is our opportunity to finally take control of our communities. And instead of us being the minority or being the guys that are added in, let me go ahead and add Terrence back in right quick. Let me jump back over here. I'm running a whole bunch of stuff. There he is. Terrence, okay. I don't know.
There I am.
Yeah, you there, brother. You might need to cut your volume down a little bit. Maybe that's that echo I'm catching in the background. But nevertheless, what we are doing here is giving us the opportunity to take control of the mechanism that controls the policy for us and our people in our community. Listen, there's a lot of folks who want to get civically engaged, and there's a lot of programs out there that will teach them how to be a part of civic engagement. But many a times what happens is these are conservative programs ran by conservative folks. And what they're doing is plucking the best of us out of our community and inundating them with the ideas they want them to take back to our community and inundate all us with. Brother Bland, go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Here's the crazy thing. I say this all the time, Joe. We're at it yet again, another inflection point in this country. I call this Reconstruction 2.0. And we have to, Joe Biden's calling President Joe Biden's calling Build Back Better. And we have to recognize this country's been torn down systematically. We saw that the orange fellow who led an insurrection, right? He has these guys called the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys and the 50 other white supremacist groups that they have. What they're doing in communities around the country, even communities of color, they are organizing, mobilizing, and energizing their base to take over school boards, to take over city councils, to become county commissioners. We're saying no. We're the vanguards and saying, hold up, not on our watch, right? How dare you think you're going to talk about critical race theory and get away with it? How dare you do you think you're going to talk about oppression? I know we shouldn't talk about Martin Luther King. We shouldn't educate our children on it or white children on inequities of slavery and how that led to the systemic problems of inequity in this country. So this fellowship is like, hold up, no, it's time to give back to our folks. And we dive deep, right? The second session in our fellowship, is a strength finder, right? We're just not talking yet. We're digging deep. We need to find out who you are. How can we leverage your strengths? How can we point out your weaknesses? How can we make everything that may not be available to you in everyday life? How can we service it to you and prepare you to take on your community?
Well, I see a lot of folks getting on. I would infer that folks share this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's start going to this website. You may yourself want to know, can you apply? And once again, Mr. Bland, tell them once again, this program is free, where other folks charge thousands of dollars for you to be a part of their leadership academies, to know more about what's civically going on in their community. This is free, FREE, and it's uplifting to our community, to us as a people. I infer that if you know someone,
that's right.
If you know of some, and there's no limitations on it. You might be sitting here going, I always wanted to get involved, but I'm kind of old.
Yeah.
Or you say, I always wanted to get involved. What are the age? What are y'all looking for? Let's talk about that. Is there any age limitations?
You know what we did when I started this, when I got involved with this organization, I became the national director in 2019. There was this block. We said we're going to focus on a block 25 to 45. And then I said, what we're doing again is what they want us to do, separate us, right? So we've opened it up. We've opened up the process and said, listen, we've got to get folks that either know the process or want to know about the process or are clueless about the process. Hey, I was always scared to get involved because I didn't know. So we haven't we took away the cap, and we're looking for, in terms, the Three Musketeers, a few good men and women, right? We're looking for folks who really want to be change agents in their community, who don't want to live in a land of about to do that, just talk about and opine. No, we're looking for folks that are really going to come through and support an agenda for Black and brown children. And like you said, it is free. And everybody says, well, there's a cost. I don't want, if it's free, that means it's cheap. This is not cheap to do, right? The reason why it's free, because something like this, if we put a price tag on this, we will box ourselves out in our communities. That's one. Secondly, it's free because we want to give folks an opportunity to change. Well, the return on investment in this fellowship is that we're going to build an ecosystem of Black and brown leaders in this country that folks have never seen before. And that's what we fully intend to do. That's what we fully intend to do. And it's easy. You go on the website, leadersofcolor.net. It's right in front of you, says apply today. And we also have another box that says apply today. Let me tell you something unique about Leaders of Color. We really try to, even from this website was designed by a Black and brown web design company. The support group, our staff, Black and brown women, right? Just give a huge subtle plug to Amber Davis Prince and Delari, who supported our team in doing this work. And if you look at some of our alumni right there, Marquita Bradshaw, Shalia Harris, and Will Snowden, the Louisiana native. And let me pause there, because you asked about alumni. So I'll pause there. I don't want to hijack the show, but the work that our folks are doing, they're really being transformational and changing our community.
That's what I'm talking about. And I want to just scroll and show some people. Let me bring my man Terrence back into the fold. Terrence, talk to me with Dfer and the connection that Dfer has with leaders, with the leaders of color. Talk to me, man. What's Dfer's all spill with this? And people are jumping on here. I'm just sharing this with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. And T, you going sideways? Stay right there. Talk to me. Oh, I can't hear you. Wait a minute. Turn up a little bit. So eventually, when you turn your volume up, I can't hear you talk. Turn it down. Turn it up. Talk to me. Are you there? Okay, we're gonna bring him back. Mike, let me bring you back in. And we'll figure out what's going on with we may have to remove him and bring him back. Hold on. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do. Bam. All right. So people are looking right. One said it's one in Ohio. Where are you trying to expand to other places? We want this to be nationwide. Mike don't know. He got a new friend on the media side. We're about to blow this up as much as we possibly can all over the place to have people know what's really going on, because we've got to start helping one another. We can't wait for somebody to come save us. We have the talent. We have the people. we have what is needed that we can save ourselves. And let me bring T back into the screen. T, talk to me with Dfer and what Dfer has in connection with all this with Mike and the leaders of color. Talk to me, brother.
All right, so thanks for having me, and I'm glad I can hear y'all, even though I missed all of Mike's great words. But what Dfer has, in working in conjunction with Leadership of Color, is moving it beyond just Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Our big thing is, hey, look, there are great, talented people in Lafayette, Lake Charles, Alexandria, Monroe, Shreveport, all around the state. There are talented Black and brown people who need this training. Now, from that standpoint, once they get it, then they are out in their communities and they're making those changes and making that difference that helps and further what we at Dfer are trying to do, which is get people to help make good policies and push good issues that not only improve our communities, but improve the educational attainment for all children in the state, but especially those children who are Black and brown.
So family, let's really get into this, Mike, because I was trying to make this a short program tonight, but with all these people jumping on and I'm getting messages left and right, we really got to talk, man. Right now, you are taking applications, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All they have to do is go to the website. Let me bring the website back up so the folks can catch that. The website is www.leadersofcolor.net. Tell a friend to tell a friend, share that with a friend. Okay, we're going to see some of the alumni. Let's talk about some of the alumni you have.
Awesome. I'll tell you, just looking at and a huge shout out to brother Will Snowden, right? You look at a brother like Will Snowden who has put an initiative together to really educate his community on jury duty. And what does that mean? I tell people, one of the things I tell people, when they register to vote, they can serve on the jury of their peers. A lot of folks get upset about the inequities in the social justice system or the justice system. And I say, look, bottom line is, we could have changed so many different cases if we just sat in the jury of our peers. Like, oh Lord, I don't want to go to jury duty. Oh Lord, I don't feel like they're gonna take time away from work from me. That is our job, right? Being civil servants in this democracy to serve on the jury of our peers. And again, we could have saved so many lives. Serving on juries, right? So Will is somebody who I think has one of the most awesome trajectories in this country. What he is going to do and what he is changing, not only in Louisiana, could be groundbreaking across this country to save Black and brown lives across this country. But then I think of Marquita Bradshaw. I like to call her Queen of the South. A lot of people know Stacey Abrams, and if you don't know Marquita Bradshaw, I guarantee you, you need to know Marquita Bradshaw. Marquita Bradshaw came to us and told us she was going to run for Senate. And here I am thinking Marquita Bradshaw is going to run for state senate. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man. Let's get ready to do our thing. Let's get ready to lock and load. She said, no, Mike, I'm running for United States Senate.
Oh,
I'm running for United States Senate because I've lived next to a landfill my whole life, an Army landfill. And this is what this has done. She talked about the generations of her family that had cancer. Marquita Bradshaw, when she ran for office, had $7.20 in her pocket. She only raised $20,000 in the United States primary in Tennessee, and she beat her opponent, who raised $2 million, was the anointed and appointed by the Democratic Party, and was the only African-American woman Democratic nominee for the United States Senate. That's Marquita Bradshaw. That's leaders of color, right? That's somebody who, when we get excited about the possibilities standing in the arena, then I think about Shalia Harris, who ran for school board. Shalia Harris ran in the Trump district. She was a Trump +3 district. She had no business winning. And she ran against a gentleman who was an incumbent. Everybody says, oh no, he's going to run away with it. Shalia Harris became the first African-American woman to win that seat. Someone who was an educator, someone who ran still continues to run a nonprofit for homeless youth in Memphis, Tennessee. Shalia Harris is a groundswell in Memphis. Her trajectory is off the chain. Where she's going, we are excited about the work that she's doing, but she is what we call the final vote in the Senate. She is she's not Joe Manchin, so don't let me get started, but she's an equivalent to a Joe Manchin on the school board in Shelby County, which represents Memphis. And those are just some of the great folks that, again, who said after being in a fellowship for just for 6-7 months, came out 2 months later and said, I'm running for office. And so that's what we're really looking for folks who've been change makers. And again, those are just a few of our alumni who've really have really shook up the ground, have been groundswell folks. And let me add this too, Joe.
Okay.
There's something to be said about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The people, the quote unquote founding fathers, we use that term loosely in this country, the founding fathers intended for ordinary people to do extraordinary things. They didn't know that we would get that, right? So when we say leaders of color, what we're looking for educators. Who else best to get us out of this mess? Them people who are in the trenches every day. Educators, they need to be running for city council. They need to be running for county commissioner. They need to be running for school board. We'll have to find them another job, but they need to run for school board. They need to run for United States Congress and Senate, right? The AAU coach who has developed hundreds of kids over decades, right? Over years has developed 100, many Black and brown men. Those are the folks that need to run for office, right? Clergy, right? They touch so many people. You can only do but so much behind the pulpit, right? It's time that we send more clergy to the United States Senate, to the United States Congress, and to representatives. But folks who know how much a gallon of milk costs, who say, this referendum doesn't make sense. It's not true equitable representation. Those are the folks that we're saying. Like I said, I want people in this fellowship who are going to get Tyrone off the couch. Well, who's Tyrone? Tyrone is a brother that doesn't usually vote, doesn't want to be bothered, maybe vote for president, but that doesn't want to be bothered. You ain't talking to me. You ain't got nothing to say to me. We're looking for leaders to shake him up and say, nah, brother, I need you to stand with me. Because not only do I need to prepare you to take this seat when I win it, you understand the plight, and we need to hear your plight so we can change the community. So those are folks that I don't need the CEOs. I don't need the people who have the Fortune 500. No, we don't need that. You've done enough. It's time for the ordinary people to have an opportunity to speak up, and we help give them the tools to excel what they tell us, what they think needs to be changed in their community.
All right. Well, Mike, let's talk about the program. How long does the program last? How many weeks from start to finish?
So we're looking at about, again, it's 70 hours. So we start in February, of course, Black History Month, right? We're intentional about that. We start February, and then our program ends in July, and then we have our commencement in August.
Okay.
So, yep.
Now let's pause right there. Is it virtual? How does the program work? Kind of give just a little taste, because here's what I'm really wanting you to do. I really want everybody to go to the website. I'm telling you, you really need to go to the website, because a lot of the questions that you may ask even here can be answered right here at the website. And it's a great information. Whoever put the website together, tell them they have a round of applause from me, because it is a great looking website. But definitely, here's where you need to go. And I'm going to put it up here, and we're going to talk about it from that perspective. So Mike, okay, so starts in February, ends in July, then you have the commencement, then you're getting ready for the next class. So we're continuing to build on what we have, and this is just not a one state initiative. This is a nationwide initiative where we can get a network of individuals who understand our issues, our situations from our perspective, and bring about the change we need to see in our communities. Mike, it's on you.
You're 100% right. We want to the goal is to build this ecosystem, this organic ecosystem of Black and brown leaders, again, who understand the inefficiencies and deficiencies in our communities. And so, you said, here's the thing. We one of the great things about when you graduate, you get an extra 10 hours of one-on-one coaching from experts in your community. We seek out coaches, former elected officials, former and current elected officials, folks who run nonprofits, folks who are connected to the small business chambers or chamber of commerce, right? All that you tell us what you want to do. Our job is to find a way to connect you to do it. And then we're saying, listen, part of serving, right? So then we'll say, listen, we need to get you involved in the NAACP. We need to get you involved in the Urban League. We need to get you involved with 100 Black men. We need to get you involved in a community-based program, not only to amplify your work, but to really separate you or pull you apart from what you're used to doing or what's been normal, and what's going to really help and move you to change your community. I'll tell you, I think the greatest thing about our fellowship is that it's ongoing. And when I say it's ongoing, is folks have, when they've graduated, okay, I'm preparing to run for office. So when they graduated, hey, I'm preparing to start a nonprofit. Hey, I'm preparing to raise holy hell, right, to the school board because I'm tired of the schools that have rats and roaches and that are underfunded, right? Or hey, I'm tired that we still haven't fixed the redlining issue in this 2022, and we're still talking about segregation and busing, right? So we're looking for folks who are, again, just not talking, but they're doing. And one of the big things is we're looking for folks. If you're a civic leader, okay, how can we help you change laws? How can we get you to lobby at the state capitol? How can we get you to lobby in front of the city council? How can we get you to lobby in front of the school board? If you're running for office, I'll tell you one of the great things about running for office. When you're running for office, not only do we stay with you, not only do I stay with you, somebody who's run a multiplicity of campaigns, who's been involved in campaigns my whole life. We have an army of folks around us, whether it be Dfer, whether it be myself, that literally are with you every step of the way. And what we also do is support you when you're running a viable campaign. You say, you know what, damn, Joe is really doing his thing. You know what, we got to put some money behind Joe. We got to, we got to use our independent expenditure in our pack. We got to put some money behind. We just can't put you out there to the wolves and let you die. No, we got to go and support you. We have to be the definition of I got your back versus just talking about having somebody's back.
Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Mike, this ain't going to be the last time you're on the show. To be exact, we're going to have the show after the show once I cut the show off. I promise you. So, Terrence, I want you to unmute, man. And once again, well, Terrence is gone. Well, Terrence will be back. but brother, you know, once again, let me bring up the website where y'all can see the website. This is where you need to go. www.leadersofcolor.net. You can find out about the program. You can see some of the alumni. You can donate. You can get involved. There's a blog. I'm bringing Terrence back. Terrence, I need you to hit me with some closing words, brother. From your point of view, you know, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. This is the first time. This won't be the last time. So give us some closing words, brother Terrence.
Hey, man, to all, look, Joe, first and foremost, thank you for having us tonight. Thank you for allowing us to reach out to your listeners and tell them about this very important program. I just want to say, you know, look, truly appreciative, but we know that we're standing at a time of a crossroad and somewhat of a crisis. And I think Mike would agree with this, in that we need more people. We need more voices, young, old, on the spectrum, that want to work for the community, want to work for our communities. And this is an opportunity to get that leadership training, to do this work for our communities, to ensure that our voices are heard in the places that they need to be heard. So if you haven't signed up, go to the website, sign up. You know, the program starts in February. We look to have you in there. We look to train good people who will improve our communities.
That's what I'm talking about. So let me bring Mike back in. Mike, talk to me, man. Give me some closing words, brother.
Listen, Terrence said, I hate going behind Terrence. That is one of the most, that brother can put, he's one of the best wordsmiths I ever met in my life.
He's very articulate.
But I can tell you, let me tell you, we, again, are at the biggest inflection point in our country. We either can get right or we're going to get left. You have an opportunity. And I tell folks, that's the best. That's all we want. Folks have this mistaken cauldron of assumption that we want a handout. No, we have our hand up. We just want somebody to help pick us up. And this is an opportunity to get the tools to change your community. You know, our app, you know, I would tell people the application says we close today. You know, Amber tells me, who is, you know, our leader, who is our program and managing director for Leaders of Color, phenomenal sister. You still have an opportunity to apply. Apply tonight. Get with some folk and apply tomorrow. Get with this organic network of Black and brown leaders who are change makers in this community. You know, let it not be strange for such a time as this that we are getting together to invoke change. And I'm honestly concerned that if we don't do it now, you'll have the Proud Boys, you'll have the Oath Keepers who will be making laws, who will be, you know, changing resolutions, not only in our schools, our state houses, in the United States. 57 people, Joe, 57 people that were at insurrection are running for office.
How many? Give that number again.
57 people who helped lead the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th are running for office this year.
So we don't need a
57.
bunch of Taylor Greens inside our lawmaking legislators changing literally policy that will affect our communities. Period.
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 So I really appreciate these brothers. Much love to you, Terrence. Stay on. Much love to you, Mike. Stay on. Let me jump up here and say something, folks. Man, I am inspired tonight. I hope you are inspired tonight. You see the website behind me, leadersofcolor.net. Go. Encourage somebody to go. If you know somebody, I have said for many a years, the biggest mistakes we make in our community is we don't set it up for who's next. We don't set it up for who needs to be the person we're grooming, that when there is an election at the school board, when there is an election at the city council, when there is an election for the mayor, or when there is an election for somebody local, we don't have someone groomed that we can put into the election to represent the best of us for the greater good. Family, this is a free opportunity. Free. If you know anything about leadership academies, most leadership academies cost, and they cost dearly. But this is where you can network and find out about civic duties, or find out even how to be a person who can undergird someone who's doing their civic duties, because there's a lot to it. But I really infer that you go get the information. You can also put comments in this podcast on the video. Let me bring Mike back. Mike, turn your light on, brother.
Yep.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question, Mike. And here's the question. Now I'm gonna get that from you. Just wait. Now I'm gonna take Mike back out. Mike, you can turn your light off. Listen, Mike's gonna give me some information. I'm gonna put it on there, and Terrence gonna give me some information. I'm gonna put it on the thread where, in case you say, "Well, I want to get in touch with Mike, Terrence directly." Well, once again, these my contacts. I'm just messing with y'all. Now we really want to work this, but we understand that even in our community, and Mike gonna mess with me when we get off this, some we understand we got a few double agents in our community who look like us but don't necessarily have our best interests at heart. So with that being said, yeah, I got to be the conduit for this one, partner, and I will be so. So, once again, I'm gonna bring up the website, let y'all see it as I begin to really thank everybody for logging in. If you want to know more about Leaders of Color, if you want to know about the program, see some of the alumni, if you want to donate, if you want to see the blog, or if you want to get involved, this is where you go. www.leadersofcolor.net. Listen, I really appreciate my guest. Big ups to you, Terrence, for connecting and coming on. Mike, big up for you for being on. Big ups for everybody who's on. Share this with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We can be the change we want to see, but representation matters, opportunity matters. And when we have leaders of color who are at the forefront making our issues important issues, the change comes about. Thank you very much for logging in, and we'll see you next time for Community Conversation. God bless and good night.